up, you guys? Welcome back to My Bookish Girls. I'm Alex, and today I'm here to do my February TBR. So, February is the shortest month of the year, even with leap year. It's 29 days, right? Hi, baby. Can you not? I literally just got home from work, so they be like, "Where you been all day?" So anyway, February is a short month, but that is apparently not stopping me from reading all of the books. And to be fair, about half of these books that I want to read this month are because of school. Because I'm taking an adolescent literature class and we're reading like a book a week. So it happens. But anyway, let's just get into it. I'm going to start with the first two books that I'm currently reading, but I'm not going to finish in January. I will finish in February. So, okay. Sit. Big head, sit. Okay. So the first book that I have here is Clockwork Princess. So Clockwork Princess is the third book in the Infernal Devices trilogy by Cassandra Clare. And I literally just started this today, so at the moment I'm only like 20 pages in. But I just finished Clockwork Prince like the day before, and I absolutely adored it. I was very emotional. But I'm reading this just because I'm anticipating the release of Chain of Gold, and I know that it takes place after the events of the trilogy. So yeah, if you don't know what this is about a girl named Tessa who is a warlock with some special powers, and she gets taken in by the shadow hunters of the London Institute. And they're trying to solve a mystery, stop the villain, shadow hunter stuff. So I'm very excited to finish this. I have read this before. This is actually a reread, but I do not remember anything from this trilogy. And I know people have said that the ending of Clockwork Princess is probably the saddest ending they've ever heard. So, I'm not excited to be sad. The next book I also just started today for one of my classes, but like I said, I will be finishing it in February, is Patron Saints of Nothing by Randy Rebay. So this is for my adolescent literature class. This book is about a boy named Jay who's in his senior year of high school, but is going to be going to University of Michigan in the fall, but he hears that his cousin was murdered as a part of President Duterte's, I don't want to say that wrong, war on drugs, and no one in the family wants to talk about what happened. Jay travels to the Philippines to find out the real story. Hoping to uncover more about June and the events that led to his death, Jay is forced to reckon with the many sides of his cousin before he can face the whole truth and the part he played in it. So, I started this. It seems pretty interesting. It's not too long, and the font is big, so I'm sure this won't be a hard read. So I'm really interested to see. I don't think I've ever read a book that is partly set in the Philippines, so I think it'll be super interesting to read. I'm worried my dogs are going to knock over all my crap. Okay, the next book that I would like to read, this is now moving into the books that I am going to be reading during the month of February. So the next book is actually a collection of short stories called Black Enough by Ibiza Boy. This is stories of being young and black in America, so this is actually edited by Ibiza Boy. I don't know if I actually said that. And since it is Black History Month, I do want to read something along those lines. I feel awful because, I want to be reading more Black authors, so recommend me some of your favorite Black authors down below. I don't want to just be saving them for Black History Month, but I definitely want to read this. These are some authors that I've read and some that I haven't read that I am very excited to, but they include stories from Justina Ireland, Varian Johnson, Rita Williams Garcia, Danielle Clayton, Kekla Magoon, Leah Henderson, Tochi Onibuchi, I pronounced that wrong probably, Jason Reynolds, Nick Stone, Liera Tamani, Renee Watson, Tracy Baptiste, Co Booth, Brandy Colbert, Jay Coles, Ibby's Boy, and Lamar Giles. So I'm really excited to get into this. Yeah, that's about it. The next book that I'm going to be reading, I do not have with me because I'll be getting it from the library, but it is called Pet. I am not gonna lie, I do not know the author's name. and I really don't want to try to pronounce it because it's very difficult, but I'm pretty excited to read this. I don't really know much about it, but I looked at the cover and it looks kind of interesting, and I'm pretty sure this is a Black LGBTQ author, which makes me even more excited to read it, so yeah. The next book that I'm going to be reading is not for class, is for me, and that is The Hunger Games by Suzanne Collins. So I'm starting my reread of the Hunger Games series since Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes comes out in May. So this will be a reread for me. I'm anticipating getting through it very fast because it is a very quick book and it's pretty short. So I'm very excited. If you don't know what the Hunger Games series is, where have you been, for one? And two, go ahead and look it up because these are wonderful books and I totally recommend you picking them up. Okay, my dogs are a mess. The next book I am planning on reading is for class, and if I can get it, and that is The Hate You Give by Angie Thomas. This will be a reread for me. Like I said, it is for class, but I am so incredibly excited to reread this. I've actually been itching to reread it, but I just have not had the time, and so when I saw that it was on my course list for this class, I basically screamed. And so yeah, I'm just very excited to get to it because I adore Angie Thomas. So yeah, I'm really excited to get to it. I might even read it out of this edition since I haven't read it out of here before. I don't know. There's so many possibilities. But yeah, I'm really excited. And who knows, maybe I'll end up rewatching the movie since I'll be reading this. Let's be real, I probably will watch the movie now that I will be reading this. My dogs are so loud. So yeah. And then the next book that I have that I want to read for myself, not for class, is Girls, A Storm and Shadow by Natasha Nagan. This came out towards the end of 2019. The first book came out, Girls of Paper and Fire came out towards the end of 2018, and I read it at the beginning of 2019, so I've been anticipating this book for a while, and I'm really excited to get into it. I'm not going to tell you what this book is about because I don't want to spoil you, but Girls, Paper, and Fire follows a girl named Lei, who is a human and a paper girl in this fantasy world, Malaysian-inspired fantasy world, and she is very well-liked because of her gold eyes, and so she is taken to be one of the king's concubines, but she ends up falling for one of the other concubines and doesn't want to be one, and I'm just really excited to get into this and see what happens because I feel like I've heard too many people talking about the sequel, but yeah, I'm really excited about it. And then the next book that I am planning on reading for class is Speak by Lori Halse Anderson. This is going to be such a quick and easy read. I love that book so much. I think I have read it over the last few years. It is something that I do not own anymore. I unhauled it. But I'm really excited to get into it because Speak is definitely a very emotional book. If you don't know what it's about, it is about a girl who is entering her freshman year of high school, and the summer before her freshman year, she had a very traumatic thing happen, and all of her friends hate her because they don't know the full story, and it's about her learning to find her voice again and talk about what happened, so I'm very excited to read it again. And then the next book that I am planning on reading for myself, not for class, is Freya by Matthew Lawrence. I don't really know too much about this, but I know it has to do with Norse mythology, which makes me kind of excited because I'm really into Norse mythology. I'd like to learn more about it and read more stories that have to do with it. So yeah, like I said, I don't know too much about it, but I'll probably talk about it more in my wrap-up, so stay tuned. And then the last book that I am planning on reading, this will also be for class, and this is the last book I'm going to be reading for class, is Blood, Water, Paint by Joy I don't know how to say her last name. Blood, Water, Paint. This will be a reread for me. So I read this during the summer of 2018, and I loved it. It's basically about this author named Artemisia Gentileschi, basically where she had to choose a life as a nun in a convent or a life grinding pigment for her father's paint, and she chose paint. And by the time that she was 17, she was one of the most talented painters in Italy. But I'm just reading it from her. But in Rome in 1610, a city where men took what they wanted from women in the aftermath of rape, Artemisia faced another choice: be silent or tell the truth, no matter the cost. So I remember absolutely loving this and the quotes that I had in this. This is actually told in verse, so it's a very quick, easy read. And it is I think it is based on a true story of Artemisia. I don't know how to pronounce her name. Yes, it is based on a true story. So I'm very excited to read it again. This book made me so sad. Obviously, there are trigger warnings for rape and sexual assault, so keep that in mind before going into it, but I would recommend it. And that is it for my February TBR. That's a lot of books, but I get to read so many more books that I either would not have read or would have taken me forever to read, and I'm really excited about it. So don't forget to comment. Don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe. Follow all my social media down below. That's Twitter, Instagram, and Goodreads. And I will see you guys next time. Goodbye!